Hello viewers, so welcome to the Big League Soccer, the exciting show on football on YouTube. Today we're discussing the major leagues. The World Cup is over, so we are discussing the major leagues in Europe now. We're forgetting about everything that happened in the World Cup and moving directly into the big leagues in Europe. We'll be looking at the top 5 leagues. We're looking at England, we're looking at Spain, Portugal, and a couple of other leagues like that. With me on the show today, I have Kozim Elegbede with me right here on my near right.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome to the show. To my far right as well, I have Remy on the show as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And Julius Ohiagbase is on my far right, the extreme right.
It's a pleasure to be here again.
So gentlemen, welcome to the show, and let's sink our teeth into the world of football. The World Cup is over, now we're moving straight into the European leagues. Now let's start from England, which is the hub when you talk about football excitement in Europe. And from England, we look at managers in and out and players in and out. Starting from the club chronologically, Arsenal starts first. So let's take Arsenal as the first club here. Cousin, Arsenal have signed Alexis Sanchez from Barcelona, and they've let out about 3, 4, 5 players, even though not big names. But Arsenal have signed one player this time around. And what effect do you think this will have on the club this season?
Oh, well, I think Arsenal have gotten themselves another marquee signing. You know, last season it took eternity before they could get Mesut Ozil. And then you could see that Wenger is gradually moving away from the shrewd or the spendthrift manager he used to be. Now he's buying players for big money, world-class players. Shankar is very, very good player and somebody who should add a lot to Arsenal. Whether it will be enough for them to achieve their aspiration, I wouldn't know. It's too early in the day to say. But it's a very, very good addition. And they lost Sagna, who happened to be their first choice right fullback. Yes. So they are looking for Debuchy. They want to sign Debuchy and a couple of other signings. Yes, it's early days yet, but I think they are on the right track, getting players to replace those who have left.
Remy, let me get your view on this. Arsene Wenger is not known to sign players on time, and if there is an argument about money or anything, he's usually the type that would step back a little. But this time around, you are very surprised. £30 million, just like that. Arsene Wenger, very, very unusual.
Well, I think the only thing that is permanent in life is change, and he has learned his lessons. To compete in this particular league right now, you have to spend whether you like it or not. Yes, we are all a bit surprised that as early as this, he has already signed Sanchez, which for everybody, he is a very, very good signing for Arsenal. We still have more than a month for him to still look into the transfer market and pick other players that he wants to pick. I see 1 or 2 other players coming in also. You understand, to actually beef up that particular team, because this time around, I don't think
top 4.
No, not even the top 4. I don't think what he will be looking for, the trophy he will be looking for this time around, is the Carling Cup or the Capital One Cup.
Yes.
I think he will be going for the Premiership too. And with all the teams that are there and the coaches, you know, right now in the Premiership, he knows that he needs to up his game, and spending is a very good way to start.
Yeah. Julius, you are the Arsenal fan here, and Arsenal have let go of Bakary Sagna, that's gone to Manchester City on a free. Fabianski, the flapping wings goalkeeper, is also gone to Swansea for free. Bentner has been released, even though he hasn't found a club. Patrick Young, Chukwuemeka, and a couple of others. What's your view on Alexis Sanchez before you touch on those free signings that have gone out?
Just like my colleagues have said, it's a very good signing for Arsenal. And the truth is that we've seen the urgency for Arsenal to really beef up the team. Because Remy said earlier on that there is stiff competition in the EPL. And I think Arsenal is coming to the party, which is that they are signing not just player, but quality player. Now for Sanchez, for me, I know his impact will be great. Everything being equal for Arsenal. And for all those players that have left, like you mentioned, Sagna and Fabianski and Bentner. Yes, I think for Sagna, Arsenal don't, give you more than a contract, 1 year if you are 30. And he is demanding more than. It's not as if Arsenal just want him to go, but at that point, there's no agreement there, so he has to leave. For Bentner, of course, we all know he didn't really, the bidding, the expectation, he didn't really fulfill it at Arsenal.
Self-styled best player in the world.
And then for Fabianski, I think he need more playing time. There's no way he could, take the shirt from
Chesney,
the way it's going. And I think he still feels he's young. He needs to keep, being the post, so that he will influence his own movement away from.
But I'm curious about Sagna's move to Man City, because I keep asking myself, is this guy going to display Zabaleta? I don't think so.
No.
So
they need somebody to deputize for Martinez.
Now you are a first teamer at Arsenal. Does it make sense to go to Man City to go and sit on the bench?
Of course, because the wages in City again.
So he's gone there to collect his retirement benefits. Fine. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Because very obviously he's going there for the money.
I mean, there's no way he's going to bench Zabaleta.
The upwards wages. So.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
Cousin, you have a little bit of background in coaching, so you would understand. Where do you think Alexis Sanchez will play for us now? He is the type of player that plays on the wing sometimes for Barcelona, because Messi won't even allow anybody to play up front. So where do you think he will fit in that Arsenal front?
You see, Alexis Sanchez gives Wenger a lot of varieties. It's either he plays on the wing, like we know, either of the two wings, or even it could be the low man, or he could also play behind the low striker. So Wenger could decide, okay, I want to jettison Giroud or keep Giroud on the bench and play with only Sanchez up front. Or he could say, okay, I want to play two strikers, because throughout last season and for a couple of seasons, Wenger has not been playing two strikers in a match. So, I mean, with Sanchez in that team now, it gives him very, very good options. He could play with a lot of formations, which will confuse a lot of teams. And that is one of the things that helped Liverpool last season. Raiders could decide to play only Suarez, could decide to play Sturridge when Suarez was not available. When it was the two were available, he was playing them together, trying out with the midfield or even the back.
And they got a lot of goals from that.
Because teams just couldn't prepare adequately for Liverpool, because you wouldn't know what formation the team, your opponents will be coming up with.
So Arsenal fans, congratulations. Seems you've signed a fantastic striker from the analysis we've heard in the studio. All right. So let's move on to another club in London, Chelsea Football Club of England, a very popular club here in Nigeria. Managers, same manager, maintain their manager, but they have a few players that have moved out and in. A few quality players have moved into Chelsea. Let's start from the biggest one, Cesc Fabregas. He's moved from Barcelona to Chelsea. Julius, let me have your view first. What impact do you think Cesc Fabregas will have on Arsenal and on Chelsea this season?
Well, personally, it was a little bit a strange move for me when I heard that announcement that Fabregas have signed for Chelsea. And why is it? Now, because Fabregas is a player that developed from Arsenal, and we know how he plays. What I mean by how he plays, Fabregas is more or less in Arsenal, a creator, all right? He does most of the creative play and help the strikers to score. Now, when this same Fabregas went to Barcelona, something changed. He transited from being creator, at least in Barcelona, first nine. Yes. Now, you see, he has played two different roles. Now, coming back to Chelsea, the role he should play in Chelsea, I am thinking the kind of role they want Fabregas to play is the kind of role Lampard plays in Chelsea, which is that you have this midfielder who, when they attack, is waiting for that loose ball to bang it at goal. Okay, now my question would be, will Fabregas fit into it? That's the question I'm asking myself now. Because again, Mourinho wants a very a workaholic midfielder, somebody who can do the defending, can do the attacking. Now, the question again is, will Cesc Fabregas fall into that role? Because I know when he was in Chelsea, there was a certain song and co that does that on for him. So I don't know. I'm actually waiting to see Chelsea play and see how he adapts, with the kind of formation Chelsea play and Mourinho.
I mean, you think Cesc Fabregas is perfectly made for Chelsea, or you think he is not a Chelsea player?
Well, no player is perfectly made for any team, and every player is perfectly made for a particular team. But what I'm looking at is that the coach knows what he wants. He has seen the player, has seen the quality. He knows that this player is going to afford him options. He knows that because when you look at the midfield of Chelsea has got a whole lot of assets that they have not even touched. You understand? So, like, it was a surprise to me also when Fabregas signed for Chelsea. Like I said, I think the coach have an understanding of the kind of team that he wants, what he wants to achieve. He knows the build of the players that he would like to bring in. Don't forget that while bringing in Fabregas, he was having in mind also the strikers that he will eventually end up using. As of January, when they asked him why he didn't sign any striker, he said, "You wait until the end of the season and see what I'm going to do." Now we are beginning to see what he's doing, and I know that the end has not come, for concerning Chelsea's sign. So the thinking of the coach is what we may not know on how he's going to use the player that he has brought in. Because you have a Willian there, you have an Oscar there. And you begin to ask how you have a match. And they are still looking for a Pogba to come in. So I think if Mourinho is trying to build a machine that will be able to stand every other team, well, good and fine for him. He's the only one that knows what he wants to use Fabregas for within that team.
Cousin, I am a little bit lost now because all this.
Oh my God!
We don't even know maybe Fabregas. The way they are even saying it, like he's going to be on the bench studying somebody, or he will be somewhere in the midfield throwing long passes.
How do you get a 30 million pound player
on the bench?
Of course. What do you mean? The 50 million says start on the bench.
It can only happen at Chelsea and Real Madrid.
So let's look at the players that are going out of Chelsea. The biggest one here is David Luiz. That's not because he's the best that have gone out. But I think the price tag.
The price tag.
Is,
I think it was overpriced.
Yeah, 50 million.
Chelsea will be very happy. David Luiz has gone out. Aspilicueta has gone. Let me just touch on a few that have gone.
Samuel Eto'o.
Talk about Samuel Eto'o. Frank Lampard has been released, and I think those are the major ones.
In my opinion, those guys they released, they shouldn't have released them. To be honest with you,
You think David Luiz should have stayed back?
No. With the exception of David Luiz. Okay. For 50 million, I would say David Luiz 1 million times. I don't think it's worth half of that amount of money.
But
with all due respect.
Apart from his playing ability, you are not considering the economic value also.
Yes.
Yes. So I think those are part of the things that might have been factored in also to get him there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. David Luiz is not a problem for me that he left Chelsea. But Ashley Cole, with his experience, for me is an issue because the few times he played last season under Mourinho, we saw what he could do. He did far more than decent a job for Mourinho. And then you talk of Samuel Eto'o, we know, incidentally was Chelsea's highest goal scorer last season. So Mourinho had issues with him. That's why he left, not because he wasn't good enough in my opinion.
And Mourinho have issue with Ashley Cole too.
I know. Dembaba, in my opinion, was not given the fair crack of the whip by Mourinho last season. So letting him go for me, it's like a slap. The guy will go and prove himself, but I think losing Dembaba, Chelsea has lost a very, very good
an experience.
For me, I won't really accept all that has been said here and say, okay, we sit on it. In as much as, yes, Mourinho is a man that seeks perfection. Let's not forget the fact that we had how many strikers in Chelsea last season?
Only 3.
And what was the ratio of their own goal contribution to the success of the team?
Look at them individually.
No, that is even by the way. That is by the way. We had Samuel Eto'o. Yes, we had issues with Mourinho. But if you are bringing a Costa in, and you have Costa, you have don't forget Lukaku is still there.
Lukaku wants to leave.
He wants to leave. We agree.
And he's going to leave.
What I'm just saying is that don't forget that we still have Lukaku there. Now we have a Dembaba.
Let me just skip him. He's going to leave because you are not guaranteeing him first team football. And the guy wants to play first team football. He's going to leave.
What I'm saying is that this same thing applies to Dembaba. Torres, for the reason I don't know, Torres will remain in Chelsea.
Yes.
Is it that nobody is ready to buy him or what?
Of course, nobody wants to buy
him. Are you going to buy him? Between Torres and Dembaba, if you were a coach, who are you going to buy?
Oh, definitely we know that.
But
he's there. But Dembaba wants to play. He doesn't want to sit on the bench, and there is no way that Costa will come in and Costa will be the one to sit on the bench. So I think for them about leaving, I still see Chelsea, buying one more striker.
Wow.
Who would like to sit on the bench?
Not necessarily sit on the bench.
That means they won't have to buy a high-profile striker because you
Definitely.
have Costa and you have Torres. Those are two high profiles. I forget Torres'
Already
problem.
from
From what we are seeing now, are we still calling Torres a high-profile striker?
Is it
The
not?
problem is hard over
Is
the
it
last 2-3
You know how much
years.
he
He is
spent on
still.
it?
Anyway.
He's still
It's not a matter of how much. His contribution to the team that we're looking at.
Do you know? Please let me contribute to this.
Because if a Lukaku leaves and the buy is gone, and you only have Torres
And Costa.
and Costa,
Let me contribute.
and don't forget that Costa is prone to injury.
Even if he's not prone to injury, he could get injured anytime.
But let me contribute to
So Torres will be the
But
top
you
man.
see, sorry. This is my
Interesting.
Opinion. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, each time they criticize strikers in Chelsea,
I find it difficult to understand why. They don't play for striker in Chelsea. They don't create chance. Lampard want to be the highest goal scorer from the midfield. Hazard want to be the highest goal scorer from the side. So talk to me. Because one thing that Chelsea have enjoyed, which they are still looking for today, is a drawback
figure
Right.
that is efficient, is hardworking. He could pass his way, and I'm telling you, Torres will not fit in there. I don't think Diego Costa will fit in there. You need to change your brand of football to suit this striker. Then they score goal.
Because if you watch the way they play, some striker will be wondering, when am I going? I've seen a game where Torres was begging for pass. The person wants to score. So how will they succeed?
So which means generally Chelsea strikers are going to find it very
You are
hard
going to find it.
Mourinho has spent highest money so far in England.
There was a time
He has to win the league.
had a striker from Italy. What is this striker from Italy? He's an Argentine. He came.
Okay, Crespo, Hernan
He came to
Crespo.
Chelsea. He couldn't score a goal. They loaned him to Italy. He became the highest scorer. Chelsea brought him back again.
He couldn't score again. Are you saying Chelsea is a graveyard of strikers?
Well, you could say
Well, I don't want you to bring that issue up once again.
Adramutu,
oh,
Kazman, Shevchenko.
All right.
Let's move on. We've done enough of Chelsea.
Oh, God.
A great club in England, the Liverpool Football Club. Liverpool have actually spent quite a lot this transfer window.
58 million plus.
Plus now they've spent.
58 million.
Yeah. Let me touch on
And we have
the
75 from
first player.
Suarez.
Let me touch on the player that left because he's a star. So we have to look at Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez has gone to Barcelona. It has just been confirmed that he has gone to Barcelona for 75 million pounds. So he's 100% a Barcelona
Player.
Cousin, Luis Suarez has gone. What is left at Liverpool?
Oh, you see, no team in the world that will not miss Luis Suarez. That's the truth. In my opinion, that guy is the best player in the world today. Remove all the baggage he has. He's in the league of his own. So there is no team in the world who will not miss him. But having said that, people forgot the fact that Suarez missed 10 league matches for Liverpool. 4 2 seasons ago, 6 this season.
Yeah.
Yes, Liverpool won 8 of those matches and drew 2. Without him, Liverpool won. So Liverpool was not only about Suarez. People were saying, what will happen to Liverpool now? Please cast your mind back to that. Then last season, Suarez didn't score against the big teams in the league. Except Man U, who were hailing under David Moyes. Yeah. Then, of course, Tottenham had their issues because of the influx of the foreigners. Against Arsenal, he couldn't score. Against Man City, he couldn't score. Over 2 legs. Against Chelsea, he couldn't score. Yet, Liverpool finished second. Yes, his goals helped a lot, but he didn't score these goals on his own. The goals were made for him. So what I picture is the way Liverpool are going to play. And like I keep telling people, I think if I top strike for Liverpool, what Brendan Rodgers is doing today, I will score a lot of goals. Why? Because he's going to he wants to hit.
That would be interesting.
But with speed. He has brought in 4 players so far, and people will say, is this not like Tottenham? I beg to disagree. It's not like Tottenham. Tottenham brought in 7 players who had no Premier League experience. Liverpool, of the 4 players they brought in, 2 of them were established Premier League players. The other two, you could even imagine, you could see that these guys will sit on the bench. It's just to enrich the bench because of the Champions League and all that. So, for me, Suarez will be missed. The EPL will miss Suarez. Liverpool will miss Suarez. All of us will miss Suarez in England, but Liverpool will still do a decent job.
Remy, before I ask you the number of goals you will score if you top strike for Liverpool, let me look at let's touch on the players Liverpool have brought in. They brought in Leza Markovic from Benfica. He's 20 years old, and Brendan Rodgers has said a lot about him. He said he's one of the most exciting young talents in Europe, so we are looking forward to that. They brought in Adam Lallana from Southampton for £23 million as an English player. Emre Can from Leverkusen and Ricky Lambert from Southampton for £4 million. Those players they brought in. Before you talk about the number of goals you score, what are the expectations on those 4 players Liverpool have brought in?
Well, I will start from where he left off in terms of missing Suarez or not missing Suarez. Indeed, yes. This season, I'm afraid that Liverpool may not perform as much as they did last season because whether we like it or not, the departure of Luis Suarez is really, really going to affect that team. Having said that, they brought in exciting talents. And I know that, yes, it's going to take some of them, whether they are established or they are not, it's going to take some of them a little bit of time to adjust to the environment that they find themselves in. Liverpool this season is not only playing in the Premiership, but they are playing Champions League football. You understand? And they are competing just like the other big teams in every competition.
Yes.
So, unlike, the absence of Suarez is something that is really going to affect Liverpool. We must not shy away from that. We must not shy away from that. And talking about Ricky Lambert and Lallana, I'm a bit angry that the whole setup is like a pack of wolves running after a fat, zebra, and they've taken pieces. I'm talking about, this way Liverpool went to Southampton and they've demolished that team.
It's not Liverpool.
I know it's not only Liverpool.
United, both players.
I'm not saying you should.
Chelsea could buy players if they want to buy players there.
I agree with that.
It's the reality of today's football.
Go ahead. He has signed Liverpool.
No, I'm not defending them. They didn't want them. They paid for those players.
Yeah, we
I agree. Now the reinforcement that he has brought in with these guys, I still don't see. Maybe later on, there can never be another Suarez. That's what I just want to say. There can never be another Suarez. And the SAS partnership, one is gone, the other one that is left. I've never really been confident of Sturridge from day one, even while he was playing with Chelsea. Because he has this tendency, like we mentioned here, the Chelsea tendency, if we call it that, being the highest goal scorer, wanting to take the glory for himself. And I pray that among the guys that has been, especially Markovic, that there will be a partnership that will work like Suarez for Liverpool this time around.
Okay, so Julius, he thinks they will miss Suarez and the Premiership will miss Suarez. Cousin thinks they won't really miss him because while he was away, Liverpool, in fact, won almost like 80% of their games. Do you think they will miss Suarez?
Definitely they will miss Suarez. Now, it's okay when they play games and Suarez was not playing, they get victory.
But I need to tell you that it was the right time that Suarez started playing. It was the right time. I explain. Now, most of the games they play without Suarez, go see the goals they score. Particularly, I know Sturridge just got a goal and him do good defending and they go away. But you see, it was getting to a point where Sturridge was getting to, you see, when you start the season on high, you dip in there, you pick up again, you dip in. It was going, Sturridge was already, suffering a little bit then. But when Suarez came, he took from there. Do you understand? So it was key. And permit me to say this. Suarez is not just a striker. He's a playmaker. Okay? He combines so much duty in a team. You see some of his goals from the center circle. He will throw that ball. So you see, do you have another striker that could imagine like that could think like that? I will tell you especially, he said no. Ricky Lambert will try, but guess what? You will miss Suarez a lot. Now, the players that have come in, particularly in this striking environment, now somebody talk about Sturridge. I think Sturridge is a very selfish player, all right? Now, it was, and I'm surprised. Suarez is a more mature player than Sturridge. because they could see there was a particular game. If Suarez was not mature, they could exchange blow on the pitch.
Because Suarez,
We don't have Asuekoto in our team.
Please.
We are not Cameroon.
But what I mean is that for the maturity of Suarez, it took that thing. And the coach substituted Sturridge immediately. Because it was becoming a childish play on the way he was playing that game. And I was like, what is wrong with him? Do you get what I'm saying? So you will miss Suarez. To be honest, Liverpool will miss Suarez. I wish the players that come in will quickly adapt to the way they play, because they are coming to under a different coach, different style of football philosophy. So they need to start playing the way. So maybe pre-season will help them, but they will miss Suarez.
Yeah, so that's the wrap on Suarez and Liverpool. Liverpool fans, you don't really have to worry. I can console you with the stats that a few years ago, like 3 or 4 now, Liverpool lost Fernando Torres, and no one saw Luis Suarez coming. He came in, he replaced Fernando Torres, and he has actually done better. Suarez went for 50 million, became a flop wherever he went to, and then Suarez is going for 75. So he can also
Become a flop.
I'm sure you don't care. So
Of course, we are focused.
hopefully Markovic and the other.
We use them before we dump them.
We'll do something. So let's touch on Manchester City and Manchester United, the champions. They haven't done too much business. The only player that come in here is Fernando from Porto as a defender, and the Bakary Sagna has come in on a free, and William Caballero. They've let Pantilimon go. Julian Lescott has gone on a free to West Brom. Gary Barry, Alex Nanley. They haven't done too much business. Because do you think, when you are champions, you need to do a little bit of reinforcement and patch up here and there to ensure that you are competitive enough for the next season? Is Manchester City doing enough?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because I feel the biggest challenge they have is to resolve the Yaya Toure issue. I mean, if you have an unhappy player, there is no doubt about the fact that he was their best player last season, and he's been singing all sorts of discordant songs. So you need to sort that out. Once that is sorted, City, in my opinion, they still remain the strongest side in England. So, and
that's because of their consistency or
the squad they have. Then releasing Pantinula and bringing in Caballero, a fantastic goalkeeper, is better for me. Then you talk of the defender, and they are still lost in after Mangala. So that team will continue to be strong. But whether they will be able to solidly defend the title is too early in the day to say. But I have my doubts, to be honest, because even last season when they won it was fate. It's not as if it was simply fate. So we'll see what happens over the course of the transfer period.
He said they won it, it was fate. Do you think this season again they are going in with fate and they'll probably win it again?
Well, it's not fate. I won't say fate. They've been consistent, they've been stable. And that is something that will work in their favor. But let's not forget the fact that the other teams, like when we started this discussion, he mentioned about 7 or 8 teams that are ready to fight for top 4 this time around. Nobody's going to be lying low and allow others to just run over them. So it's going to be a very stiff competition, given the fact that their city rival, they've gotten the right person in Louis van Gaal.
Don't say that yet.
If you say the right person, okay, let me not use the right person.
Exactly.
But
A high-profile coach.
A high-profile,
Far better than David Moyes.
who's got a very good.
Far more accomplished than David
I
Moyes.
agree with you when you say that. A more accomplished coach, but not.
Okay, a more based on experience, a more accomplished coach.
A world-class coach in quotes. In Nigerian parlance.
So let's see what is going to happen. City, yes, they are very stable. They stand a chance, but the competition is going to be hot this time around, and that is when we will now start seeing, who comes up top or who doesn't.
Julius, they've all talked about Manchester City being stable and they'll probably be very, very competitive in the new season. Manchester United, there isn't anything to talk about there. They've brought in a few players, but the real thing they brought in is Louis van Gaal. Louis van Gaal is a top coach we all know. Are Manchester United going to be back again this season?
Yeah, good. I think they will be back based the experience of the coach. And
If we saw the Dutch team that went to the World Cup, they have quite some inexperienced player that went to the World Cup, and for him to be able to put that team together and perform the way they perform, if he can replicate that in Man United, they end up third in the World Cup. Perhaps they end up third in the EPL if he could do the same performance.
Okay, if you are saying back.
I disagree. World Cup is a 7-game tournament. League is 38.
Yeah.
Van Gaal is coming to the EPL, a very frenetic league for the first time. I mean, we know of Carlo Ancelotti and other coaches who came for the first time and won it. Mourinho did it, but it's not everybody who came. In fact, most people who came needed time. Okay, Pellegrini too came for the first time and won it, but they won it with arguably the best teams in the league.
I think that's what I wanted to see. That
because Man U today is not even in my top four.
I think at the end of the day, his activity in the transfer market is what is going to determine
exactly.
his success or not.
Exactly.
Well, why I took the view I took is this fact. Now, you can say the World Cup is a 7-day tournament or 1-month tournament, but I know that team did not take 7 days to build.
Yeah.
For him to put that team together for whenever they start.
That should be a credit to him.
Absolutely. So for him to bring those players, we don't know. Some of them he was able to turn them.
It was with them for like 2 years minimum.
Yeah. What it's still being is that it's still the coach that built that team.
By the time he plays against the Leicesters of this world,
he has the opportunity.
the West Hams.
He has the opportunity. Like you have said, I agree. What it does in the market, we a bit contribute again to what it does. But what I've just said in conclusion is that if he end up third in the World Cup, perhaps he might end up third in the EPL.
Okay.
Thank God there is no Man U fan here.
All right. Let's just touch on the other clubs. I mean, the other leagues. We'll touch on Italy and maybe Spain. Italy, the biggest news from Italy early today or late yesterday was that Juventus coach, the champions, Antonio Conte, has decided to part ways with Juventus. What exactly do you think will be? Because this is a coach that has won 3 consecutive titles, 3 titles with the club, and he's enjoying success. He can do like Alex Ferguson and go on and go on. He has decided to leave. Cousin, what could be wrong? A coach managing success.
Oh, well, I don't know. It was a surprise. To be honest with you, I think a lot of things happened behind the scene. People were insinuating maybe it was because of Arturo Vidal's rumor. You know, it's not. I don't think so. I think that is too small to make a coach who has been, in fact, arguably Juventus' most successful coach. I mean, for the first time, Juventus won the league without losing a match. That was his first season. They won 3 straight league titles. I know in the 30s they did it 5 times, 5 consecutive titles. But you can't take anything away from Conte. So you don't suddenly part with such a coach. But I think Juve has this thing in their game, okay? Like they did to the Deschamps, who took them from Serie B when they were relegated after the Calciopoli incident. He took them from Serie B, won the Serie B, got to Serie A. You will expect them to build on it to keep the man, but he just allowed him to work. The same thing they are doing to Antonio Conte. It will take time because I'm not too sure about Massimo Allegri that they brought in a Milan reject. Yes, he was successful in his first season at AC Milan, but 2-3 seasons down the line, he just lost his way. If you're not giving Juve to such a coach, he's going to rebuild the team. He's going to change a lot of things. Juve, I think, will struggle this season. I'll be surprised if they make a headway.
And I think my fear is that by letting Conte go, it has opened door for players to start leaving also.
Yeah.
They will have stick with their coach because they've known him, they've worked with him,
right.
Built a family, so to say.
It's like they're going to destroy that structure.
Leaving, definitely the ones that didn't want to leave before will have, a second
misgivings, second thought, yes.
Okay, I think I can leave now because there will be no allegiance or loyalty to the incoming coach.
And an example is Andre Pirlo, who played under Allegri. In fact, Allegri allowed him to leave AC Milan to join Juve. And the moment he joined Juve started winning the Scudetto. So now Allegri is back. Are you say at his age, do you think an Andre Pirlo will be comfortable to play on? I don't know.
The same thing that chased him out of AC Milan is likely to chase him out of Juventus.
Probably you have to go to another, maybe Inter or Monaco.
No, he returns to AC Milan.
And AC Milan will probably start winning again because AC Milan and Inter Milan are just there. So that's just Spain. What's happening in Spain? Real Madrid, the prospective signing really, James Rodriguez might be moving there.
I think they got to recruit, yes.
No.
Is it confirmed?
No,
not yet.
I'm asking.
Not yet.
Now we're talking about what is the problem of Chelsea buying every player. What is the problem of Real Madrid buying every player for the
Real Madrid haven't bought
Wait.
I'm talking about the speculations you just mentioned.
Please. there are all animals are equal. Some are more equal than others.
Okay.
Look, Real Madrid are not in Chelsea's league at all. They may be playing in the Champions League together, but we know Real Madrid are a big, in fact, an incredible franchise that Chelsea can only dream.
We are not talking about financial capabilities. We are talking about what are they doing with all the players in the world.
So what? It's like Wigan now saying they want to do what Manchester United are doing.
No, sir. What are they doing with all the players they are buying?
What are they doing with all the players?
Real Madrid under Florentino Perez, even before Florentino Perez, they have always been about Galacticos. It's their culture. Okay.
What's the name of this young man that they bought last season?
Isco.
Isco is still there.
They still have a Morati that
For God's sake.
But I think they are looking at Khedira going out and bringing in that.
To be honest with you, gentlemen, I'm not holding brief for Real Madrid. I don't even like what is happening there. I happen to be a Real Madrid fan as well. But since Florentino Perez became president and his second coming, I've not really supported that because I don't approve of you just cornering all the best players in the world.
Probably
we don't want a one-club league in the world.
What he's doing is always in competition with Barcelona, even in terms of spending. And that is foolishness as far as I'm concerned.
It cannot even guarantee success.
But they've been more successful than Barcelona. I mean, check the records.
Champions League trophies.
Check the records.
No, you mean in terms of the Champions League or the league?
Even the local league, they've won.
If you look for the past 10 years, have they really been more successful than Barcelona?
Well, it's another thing. Barcelona now, they have to build again. And that's why it's going to be interesting to see how Suarez, Messi, and Neymar play together.
All right. Well, I think we've touched on the major things that have happened in the top leagues and managers in and out. Okay, well, we've discussed it all. The analysts in the studio have actually done a fantastic job analyzing all the leagues and managers in and out and players that have come in and out of clubs. Thanks for watching Big League Soccer. This time around, we are expecting you to subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube. And next time around, you join us. My name is Neo Kwali. Thank you for joining us.